This Steam subscriber agreement is a legal document that explains your rights and obligations as a subscriber of Steam from Valve Corporation. Valve. Please read it carefully. Hello. Hello. Hello, and I hope you are reading this carefully, or at least listening to this carefully. That's right. Today, we are reading the Steam subscriber agreement. You know, the stuff you just scroll through and click accept or check the box that says, yes, I have read. I know you. You did not read the agreement. You should read the agreement. But you didn't. You lied. But that's okay. That's why I'm here. I'm going to read this for you. Or at least as much as I can in an hour or so, or until my voice dies. This video is intended for you to sleep. This one, well, I guess it depends on you. I was going to say this one may not be one if you're looking for entertainment or playing in the background while you're working. For this one, I want you to imagine me as maybe imagine you are back in school, or if you're currently in school, and there's that one teacher, and it's first or second hour, so it's early in the morning, and you did not get enough sleep last night. Or maybe it's late in the day, last period before you get to go home. And I'm that one teacher. Oh yeah, you know that one teacher. The one that just can talk, and maybe the content's interesting, or maybe in such a case as this one, not interesting. And you just cannot keep your eyes open no matter what. Your eyes start to close slowly and you pop them back going, knowing you can't sleep, but then they close again and your head is leaning on your hand. You might catch yourself, your head falling towards the desk, and you catch yourself just in time. Everybody's just nodding off. That teacher that just talks about the boring stuff and the monotone voice that you just cannot help falling asleep. Maybe you want to stay awake. Maybe you don't. But you just can't help but falling asleep. That is who I am today. That teacher, that person just going over something so incredibly boring that you have to fall asleep. This could very well be the video for you if you just want something boring to drift off to. Steam subscriber agreement. At the same time, I'm teaching you very valuable information. So you better remember this, and next time you can check the box saying I did read it, and you did read it, and you do agree. Or maybe you don't agree, but doesn't matter because you can't use it anyways if you don't agree. The Steam Subscriber Agreement. A legal document crafted by lawyers. Very important. Are you ready for this enthralling piece of literature? Because here we go. Section 1. Registration as a subscriber. Applications of terms to you, your account. Steam is an online service offered by Valve. You become a subscriber of Steam by completing the registration of a Steam user account. This agreement takes effect as soon as you indicate your acceptance of these terms. You may not become a subscriber if you are under the age of 13. Steam is not intended for children under 13, and Valve will not knowingly collect personal information from children under the age of 13. A contracting party. For any interaction with Steam, your contractual relationship is with Valve, except as otherwise indicated at the time of the transaction, such as in the case of purchases from another subscriber in a subscription marketplace. Any transactions for subscriptions as defined below you make on Steam are being made from Valve. B. Subscriptions, content, and services. As a subscriber, you may obtain access to certain services, software, and content available to subscribers. The Steam client software and any other software, content, and updates you download or access via Steam, including but not limited to Valve or third-party video games and in-game content, and any virtual items you trade, sell, or purchase in a Steam subscription marketplace are referred to in this agreement as content and services. The rights to access and or use any contents and services accessible through Steam are referred to in this agreement as subscriptions. Each subscription allows you to access particular content and services. Some subscriptions may impose additional terms specific to that subscription terms. For example, an end-user license agreement specific to a particular game or terms of use specific to a particular product or feature of Steam. Also, additional terms, for example, payment and billing procedures, may be posted on http://www.steampowered.com or within the Steam service rules of use. Rules of use include the Steam Online Conduct Rules, http:// steampowered.com/index.php !area equals online_conduct. And the Steam refund policy, http://store.steampowered.com/steam_refunds. The subscription terms, the terms, the rules of use, the Valve video policy, see section 2.d below, and the Valve privacy policy, which can be found at http://valvesoftware.com/privacy.htm, are binding on you once you indicate your acceptance of them or of this agreement, or otherwise become bound by them as described in Section 8, Amendments to this agreement. Do you got all that? Are you learning? Good thing I brought this water bottle here, because I can already tell I'm going to be needing to drink out of it a lot. C. Your account. When you complete Steam's registration process, you create a Steam account. Your account may also include billing information you provide to Valve for the purchase of subscriptions, content and services, and any physical merchandise offered for purchase through Steam hardware. You may not reveal, share, or otherwise allow others to use your password or account except as otherwise specifically authorized by Valve. You are responsible for the confidentiality of your login and password and for the security of your computer system. Valve is not responsible for the use of your password and account, or for all of the communication and activity on Steam that results from use of your login name and password by you, by any person to whom you may have intentionally or by negligence disclosed your login and or password in violation of this confidentiality provision. Unless it results from Valve's negligence or fault, Valve is not responsible for the use of your account by a person who fraudulently used your login and password without your permission. If you believe that the confidentiality of your login and or password may have been compromised, you must notify Valve via the support form https://support.steampowered.com/newticket.php without any delay. Your account, including information pertaining to it, e.g., contact information, billing information, account history and subscriptions, etc., is strictly personal. You may therefore not sell or charge others for the right to use your account or otherwise transfer your account, nor may you sell, charge others for the right to use or transfer any subscriptions other than if and as expressly permitted by this agreement, including any subscriptions, terms, or rules of use, as otherwise specifically permitted by Valve. D. Payment processing. Payment processing related to content and services and or physical goods purchased on Steam is performed by either Valve Corporation directly or by Valve's fully owned subsidiary Valve GmbH. GmbH on behalf of Valve Corporation, depending on the type of payment method used. If your card was issued outside the United States, your payment may be processed via a European acquirer by Valve GmbH on behalf of Valve Corporation. For any other type of purchases, payment will be collected by Valve Corporation directly. In any case, delivery of content and services, as well as physical goods, is performed by Valve Corporation. Two, licenses. A. General Content and Services License. Steam and your subscriptions require the automatic download and installation of content and services onto your computer. Valve hereby grants and you accept a non-exclusive license and right to use the content and services for your personal, non-commercial use, except where commercial use is expressly allowed herein or in the applicable subscription terms. This license ends upon termination of A. this agreement, or B. a subscription that includes the license. The content and services are licensed, not sold. Your license confers no title or ownership in the content and services. To make use of the content and services, you must have a Steam account, and you may be required to be running the Steam client and maintaining a connection to the Internet. For reasons that include, without limitation, system security, stability, and multiplayer interoperability, Steam may need to automatically update, preload, create new versions of, or otherwise enhance the content and services, and accordingly, the system requirements to use the content and services may change over time. You consent to such automatic updating. You understand that this agreement, including applicable subscription terms, does not entitle you to future updates, new versions, or other enhancement of the content and services associated with a particular subscription. Although Valve may choose to provide such updates, etc., in its sole discretion. B. Beta Software License. Valve may from time to time make software accessible to you via Steam prior to the general commercial release of such software, beta software. You are not required to use beta software, but if Valve offers it, you may elect to use it under the following terms. Beta software will be deemed to consist of content and services, and each item of beta software provided will be deemed a subscription for such beta software, with the following provisions specific to beta software. Your right to use the beta software may be limited in time and may be subject to additional subscription terms. Valve or any Valve affiliate may request or require that you provide suggestions, feedback, or data regarding your use of the beta software, which will be deemed user-generated content under Section 6, User-Generated Content, below, and in addition to the waivers and limitations of liability for all software under Section 7, Disclaimers, Limitations on Liability, No Guarantees, Limited Warranty. Below, as applicable, you specifically acknowledge that beta software is only released for testing and improvement purposes, in particular to provide Valve with feedback on the quality and usability of said beta software, and therefore contains errors, is not final, and may create incompatibilities or damage to your computer, data, and or software. If you decide to install and or use beta software, you shall only use it in compliance with its purpose. i.e. for testing and improvement purposes, and in any case not on a system, or for purposes where the malfunction of the beta software can cause any kind of damage. In particular, maintain full backups of any system that you choose to install beta software on. C. License to use Valve developer tools. Your subscriptions may include access to various Valve tools that can be used to create content, developer tools. Some examples include the Valve Software Development Kit, the SDK, for a version of the computer game known as Source, the Source Engine, and the associated Valve Hammer Editor, the Source Filmmaker software, or in-game tools through which you can edit or create derivative works of a Valve game. Particular developer tools, for example the Source Filmmaker software, may be distributed with separate subscription terms that are different from the rules set forth in this section. Otherwise, you may use the developer tools as you may use, reproduce, publish, perform, display, and distribute any content you create using the developer tools however you wish, but solely on a non-commercial bias. If you would like to use the Source Engine SDK or other Valve developer tools for commercial use, please contact Valve at sourceengine@valvesoftware.com. D. License to use Valve game content in fan art. Valve appreciates the community of subscribers that creates fan art, fan fiction, and audio-visual works that reference Valve games' fan art. You may incorporate content from Valve games into your fan art, except as otherwise set forth in this section, or in any subscription terms. You may use, reproduce, publish, perform, display, and distribute fan art that incorporates content from Valve games however you wish, but solely on a non-commercial basis. If you incorporate any third-party content in any fan art, you must be sure to obtain all necessary rights from the owner of that content. Commercial use of some Valve game content is permitted via features such as Steam Workshop or a Steam subscription marketplace. Terms applicable to that use are set forth in section 3.d and 6.b below, and in any subscription terms provided for those features. To view the Valve video policy containing additional terms covering the use of audio-visual works incorporating Valve intellectual property or created with the Source Filmmaker software, please click here, http://valvesoftware.com/videopolicy.html. E. License to use Valve dedicated server software. Your subscriptions may contain access to the Valve dedicated server software. If so, you may use the Valve dedicated server software on an unlimited number of computers for the purpose of hosting online multiplayer games of Valve products. If you wish to operate the Valve dedicated server software, you will be solely responsible for procuring any internet access, bandwidth, or hardware for such activities and will bear all costs associated therewith. F. Ownership of content and services. All title ownership rights and intellectual property rights in and to the content and services, and any and all copies thereof are owned by Valve and or its affiliates licensors. All rights are reserved except as expressly stated herein. The content and services is protected by copyright laws, international copyright treaties, and conventions and other laws. The content and services contains certain licensed materials, and Valve's and its affiliates licensors may protect their rights in the event of any violation of this agreement. G. Restrictions on use of content and services. You may not use the content and services for any purpose other than the permitted access to Steam and your subscriptions, and to make personal, non-commercial use of your subscriptions, except as otherwise permitted by this agreement or applicable subscription terms, except as otherwise permitted under this agreement, including any subscription terms or rules of use, or under applicable law. Notwithstanding these restrictions, you may not, in whole or in part, copy, photocopy, reproduce, publish, distribute, translate, reverse engineer, derive source code from, modify, disassemble, decompile, create derivative works based on, or remove any proprietary notices or labels from the content and services, or any software accessed via Steam without the prior consent in writing of Valve. You are entitled to use the content and services for your own personal use, but you are not entitled to 1. Sell, grant a security interest in, or transfer reproductions of the content and services to other parties in any way, nor to rent, lease, or license the content and services to others without the prior written consents of Valve, except to the extent expressly permitted elsewhere in this agreement, including any subscription terms or rules of use. 2. Host or provide matchmaking services for the content and services, or emulate or redirect the communication protocols used by Valve in any network feature of the content and services, through protocol emulation, tunneling, modifying, or adding additional components to the content and services. Use of a utility program or any other techniques now known or hereafter developed for any purpose, including but not limited to network play over the internet, network play utilizing commercial or non-commercial gaming networks, or as part of content aggregation networks, websites, or services without the prior written consent of Valve. Or 3. Exploit the content and services or any of its parts for any commercial purpose except as expressly permitted elsewhere in this agreement, including any subscription terms or rules of use. 3. Billing, payment, and other subscriptions. All charges incurred on Steam and all purchases made with the Steam wallet are payable in advance and final, except as described in Section 7 below and in the Steam refund policy. http://store.steampowered.com/steam_refunds. A. Payment authorization. When you provide payment information to Valve or to one of its payment processors, you represent to Valve that you are the authorized user of the card, PIN, key, or account associated with that payment, and you authorize Valve to charge your credit card or to process your payment with the chosen third-party payment processor for any subscription, Steam Wallet funds, hardware, or other fees incurred by you. Valve may require you to provide your address or other information in order to meet their obligations under applicable tax law. For subscriptions purchased based on an agreed usage period, where recurring payments are made in exchange for continued use, recurring payment subscriptions. By continuing to use the recurring payment subscriptions, you agree and reaffirm that Valve is authorized to charge your credit card or your Steam wallet if funded, or to process your payment with any other applicable third-party payment processor for any applicable recurring payment amounts. If you have purchased any recurring payment subscriptions, you agree to notify Valve promptly of any changes to your credit card account number, its expiration date, and or your billing address, or your PayPal or other payment account number, and you agree to notify Valve promptly if your credit card or payment or PayPal or other payment account expires or is canceled for any reason. If your use of Steam is subject to any type of use or sales tax, then Valve may also charge you for those taxes, in addition to the subscription or other fees published in the rules of use. The European Union VAT tax amounts collected by Valve reflect VAT due on the value of any content and services, hardware, or subscription. You agree that you will not use IP proxying or other methods to disguise the place of your residence, whether to circumvent geographical restrictions on game content, to purchase at pricing not applicable to your geography, or for any other purpose. If you do this, Valve may terminate your access to your account. B. Responsibility for charges associated with your account. As the account holder, you are responsible for all charges incurred, including applicable taxes, and all purchases made by you or anyone that uses your account, including your family or friends. If you cancel your account, Valve reserves the right to collect fees, surcharges, or costs incurred before cancellation. Any delinquent or unpaid accounts must be settled before Valve will allow you to register again. C. Steam Wallet. Steam may make available an account balance associated with your account, the Steam Wallet. The Steam Wallet is neither a bank account nor any kind of payment instrument. It functions as a prepaid balance to purchase content and services. You may place funds in your Steam wallet up to a maximum amount determined by Valve, by credit card, prepaid card, promotional code, or any other payment method accepted by Steam. Within any 24-hour period, the total amount stored in your Steam wallet plus the total amount spent out of your Steam wallet in the aggregate may not exceed $2,000 or its equivalent in your applicable local currency. Attempted deposits into your Steam wallet that exceed this threshold may not be credited to your Steam wallet until your activity falls below this threshold. Valve may change or impose different Steam wallet balance and usage limits from time to time. You will be notified by email of any change to the Steam wallet balance and usage limits within 60 days before the entry into force of the said change. Your continued use of your Steam account more than 30 days after the entry into force of the changes will constitute your acceptance of the changes. If you don't agree to the changes, your only remedy is to terminate your Steam account or to cease use of your Steam wallet. Valve shall not have any obligation to refund any credits remaining on your Steam wallet in this case. You may use Steam Wallet funds to purchase subscriptions, including by making in-game purchases where Steam Wallet transactions are enabled, and hardware. Funds added to the Steam Wallet are non-refundable and non-transferable. Steam Wallet funds do not constitute a personal property right, have no value outside Steam, and can only be used to purchase subscriptions and related content via Steam, including but not limited to games and other applications offered through the Steam Store, or in a Steam subscription marketplace and hardware. Steam Wallet funds have no cash value and are not exchangeable for cash. Steam Wallet funds that are deemed unclaimed property may be turned over to the applicable authority. D. Trading and sales of subscriptions between subscribers. Steam may include one or more features or sites that allow subscribers to trade, sell, or purchase certain types of subscriptions. For example, license rights to virtual items with, to, or from other subscribers. Marketplaces. An example of a subscription marketplace is the Steam Community Market. By using or participating in subscription marketplaces, you authorize Valve on its own behalf or as an agent or licensee of any third-party creator or publisher of the applicable subscriptions in your account, to transfer those subscriptions from your account in order to give effective to any trade or sale you make. Valve may charge a fee for trades or sales in a subscription marketplace. Any fees will be disclosed to you prior to the completion of the trade or sale. If you complete a trade, sale, or purchase in a Steam marketplace, you acknowledge and agree that you are responsible for taxes, if any, which may be due with respect to your transactions, including sales or use taxes, and for compliance with applicable tax laws. Proceeds from sales you make in a subscription marketplace may be considered income to you for income tax purposes. You should consult with a tax specialist to determine your tax liability in connection with your activities in any subscription marketplace. You understand and acknowledge that Valve may decide to cease operation of any subscription marketplace, change the fees that it charges, or change the terms or features of the Steam subscription marketplace. Valve shall have no liability to you because of any inability to trade subscriptions in the Steam trading marketplace, including because of discontinuation or changes in the terms, features, or eligibility requirements of any subscription marketplace. You also understand and acknowledge that subscriptions traded, sold, or purchased in any subscription marketplace are license rights, that you have no ownership interest in such subscriptions, and that Valve does not recognize any transfers of subscriptions, including transfers by operation of law, that are made outside of Steam. Retail purchase. Valve may offer or require a subscription for purchasers of retailed packaged product versions or OEM versions of Valve products. The CD key or product key accompanying such versions is used to activate your subscription. F. Steam authorized resellers. You may purchase a subscription through an authorized reseller of Valve. The product key accompanying such purchases will be used to activate your subscription. If you purchase a subscription from an authorized reseller of Valve, you agree to direct all questions regarding the product key to that reseller. G. Free subscriptions. In some cases, Valve may offer a free subscription to certain services, software, and content. As with all subscriptions, you are always responsible for any internet service provider, telephone, and other connection fees that you may incur when using Steam, even when Valve offers a free subscription. H. Third-party sites. Steam may provide links to other third-party sites. Some of these sites may charge separate fees, which are not included in and are in addition to any subscription or other fees that you may pay to Valve. Steam may also provide access to third-party vendors who provide content, goods, and/or services on Steam or the Internet. Any separate charges or obligations you incur in your dealings with these third parties are your responsibility. Valve makes no representations or warranties, either express or implied, regarding any third-party site. In particular, Valve makes no representation or warranty that any service or subscription offered via third-party vendors will not change or be suspended or terminated. Four. Online conduct, cheating, and illegal behavior. Your online conduct and interaction with other subscribers should be guided by common sense and basic etiquette. They must notably comply with the Steam online conduct rules, to be found at http://steampowered.com/index.php?area=online_conduct. Depending on terms of use imposed by third parties who host particular games or other services, additional requirements may also be provided in subscription terms applicable to a particular subscription. Steam and the content and services may include functionality designed to identify software or hardware processes or functionality that may give a player an unfair competitive advantage when playing multiplayer versions of any content and services or modifications of content and services. Cheats. You agree that you will not create cheats or assist third parties in any way to create or use cheats. You agree that you will not directly or indirectly disable, circumvent, or otherwise interfere with the operation of software designed to prevent or report the use of cheats. You acknowledge and agree that either Valve or any online multiplayer host may refuse to allow you to participate in certain online multiplayer games if you use cheats in connection with Steam or the content and services. Further, you acknowledge and agree that an online multiplayer host may report your use of cheats to Valve, and Valve may communicate your history of use of cheats to other online multiplayer hosts. Valve may terminate your account or a particular subscription for any conduct or activity that is illegal, constitutes a cheat, or otherwise negatively affects the enjoyment of Steam by other subscribers. You acknowledge that Valve is not required to provide you notice before terminating your subscriptions and/or account. You may not use cheats, automation software, bots, mods, hacks, or any other unauthorized third-party software to modify or automate any subscription marketplace processes. 5. Third-party content. In regard to all subscriptions, contents, and services that are not authored by Valve, Valve does not screen such third-party content available on Steam or through other sources. Valve assumes no responsibility or liability for such third-party content. Some third-party application software is capable of being used by businesses for business purposes. However, you may only acquire such software via Steam for private, personal use. Six, user-generated content. A. General provisions. Steam provides interfaces and tools for you to be able to generate content and make it available to others, to other users, and or to Valve at your sole discretion. User-generated content means any content you make available to other users through your use of multi-user features of Steam, or to Valve or its affiliates through your use of the content and services or otherwise. When you upload your content to Steam to make it available to other users and or to Valve, you grant Valve and its affiliates the worldwide, non-exclusive right to use, reproduce, modify, create derivative works from, distribute, transmit, transcode, translate, broadcast, and otherwise communicate, and publicly display and publicly perform your user-generated content and derivative works of your user-generated content for the purpose of the operation, distribution, and promotion of the Steam service, Steam games, or other Steam offerings. This license is granted to Valve as the content is uploaded on Steam for the entire duration of the intellectual property rights. It may be terminated if Valve is in breach of the license and has not cured such breach within 14 days from receiving notice from you sent to the attention of the Valve Legal Department at the applicable Valve address noted on this privacy policy page. The termination of said license does not affect the rights of any sub-licenses pursuant to any sub-license granted by Valve prior to termination of the license. Valve is the sole owner of the derivative works created by Valve from your content, and is therefore entitled to grant licenses on these derivative works. If you use Valve Cloud Storage, you grant us a license to store your information as part of that service. Valve may place limits on the amount of storage you may use. If you provide Valve with any feedback or suggestions about Steam, the content and services, or any Valve products or services, Valve is free to use the feedback or suggestions however it chooses without any obligation to account to you. B. Content uploaded to the Steam Workshop. Some games or applications available on Steam Workshop-enabled apps allow you to create a user-generated content based on or using the Workshop-enabled app, and to submit that user-generated content, a Workshop contribution, to one or more Steam Workshop web pages. Workshop contributions can be viewed by the Steam community, and for some categories of Workshop contributions, users may be able to interact with, download, or purchase the Workshop contribution. In some cases, Workshop contributions may be considered for incorporation by Valve or a third-party developer into a game or into a subscription marketplace. You understand and agree that Valve is not obligated to use, distribute, or continue to distribute copies of any Workshop contribution, and reserves the right, but not the obligation, to restrict or remove Workshop contributions for any reasons. Specific Workshop-enabled apps or Workshop web pages may contain special terms, app-specific terms, that supplement or change the terms set out in this section. In particular, where Workshop contributions are distributed for a fee, app-specific terms will address how revenue may be shared. Unless otherwise specified in app-specific terms, if any, the following general rules apply to Workshop contributions. Workshop contributions are subscriptions, and therefore you agree that any subscriber receiving distribution of your workshop contribution will have the same rights to use your workshop contribution and will be subject to the same restrictions as are set out in this agreement for any other subscriptions. Notwithstanding the license described in Section 6A, Valve will only have the right to modify or create derivative works from your workshop contribution in the following cases. A. Valve may make modifications necessary to make your contribution compatible with Steam and the workshop functionality or user interface. And B. Valve or the applicable developer may make modifications to workshop contributions that are accepted for in-application distribution as it deems necessary or desirable to enhance gameplay. You may, in your sole discretion, choose to remove a workshop contribution from the applicable workshop pages. If you do so, Valve will no longer have the right to use, distribute, transmit, communicate, publicly display, or publicly perform the workshop contribution, except that A. Valve may continue to exercise these rights for any workshop contribution that is accepted for distribution in-game, or distributed in a manner that allows it to be used in-game. And B. Your removal will not affect the rights of any subscriber who has already obtained access to a copy of the workshop contribution. Except where otherwise provided in app-specific terms, you agree that Valve's consideration of your workshop contribution is your full compensation, and you are not entitled to any other rights or compensation in connection with the rights granted to Valve and to other subscribers. C. Promotions and endorsements. If you use Steam services, e.g. the Steam Curators List or the Steam Broadcasting Service, to promote or endorse a product, service, or event in return for any kind of consideration from a third party, including non-monetary rewards such as free games, you must clearly indicate the source of such consideration to your audience. D. Representations and warranties. You represent and warrant to us that you have sufficient rights in all user-generated content to grant Valve and other affected parties the licenses described under A and B above, or in any license terms specific to the applicable workshop-enabled app or workshop page. This includes, without limitation, any kind of intellectual property rights or other proprietary or personal rights affected by or included in the user-generated content. In particular, with respect to workshop contributions, you represent and warrant that the workshop contribution was originally created by you, or with respect to a workshop contribution to which others contributed besides you, by you and the other contributors, and in such case that you have the right to submit such workshop contribution on behalf of those other contributors. You furthermore represent and warrant that the user-generated content, your submission of that content, and your granting of rights in that content does not violate any applicable contract, law, or regulation. Section 7. Disclaimers, limitation of liability, no guarantees, limited warranty. This Section 7 does not apply to EU subscribers. For Australian subscribers, this Section 7 does not exclude, restrict, or modify the application of any guarantee, right, or remedy that cannot be so excluded, restricted, or modified, including those conferred by the Australian Commerce Law, ACL. Under the ACL, goods come with guarantees, including a guarantee that goods are of acceptable quality. If there is a failure of this guarantee, you are entitled to a remedy, which may include having the goods repaired or replaced or a refund. If If a repair or replacement cannot be provided or there is a major failure, you are entitled to a refund. For New Zealand subscribers, this Section 7 does not exclude, restrict, or modify the application of any right or remedy that cannot be so excluded, restricted, or modified, including those conferred by the New Zealand Commerce Guarantees Act of 1993. Under this act are guarantees which include that goods and services are of acceptable quality. If the guarantee is not met, there are entitlements to have the software remedied, which may include repair, replacement, or refund. If a remedy cannot be provided or the failure of a substantial character, the Act provides for a refund. Prior to acquiring a subscription, you should consult the product information made available on Steam, including subscription description, minimum technical requirements, and user reviews. A. Disclaimers. To the maximum extent permitted by applicable law, Valve and its affiliates and service providers expressly disclaim 1. Any warranty for Steam, the content and services, and the subscriptions, and 2. Any common law duties with regard to Steam, the content and services, and the subscriptions, including duties of lack of negligence and lack of workmanlike effort. Steam, the content and services, the subscriptions, and any information available in connection therewith are provided on a as-is and as-available basis, with all faults and without warranty of any kind, either express or implied, including without limitation the implied warranties of merchantability, fitness for a particular purpose, or non-infringement, any warranty against infringement that may be provided in Section 2-312 of the United States Uniform Commercial Code, and or in any other comparable state statute is expressly disclaimed. Also, there is no warranty of title, non-interference with your enjoyment, or authority in connection with Steam, the content and services, the subscriptions, or information available in connection therewith. Any warranty against infringement that may be provided in Section 2-312 of the United States Uniform Commercial Code is expressly disclaimed. B. Limitation of liability. To the maximum extent permitted by applicable law, neither Valve, its licensors, nor their affiliates, nor any of Valve's service providers shall be liable in any way for loss or damage of any kind resulting from the use or inability to use Steam, your account, your subscriptions, and the content and services including, but not limited to, loss of goodwill, work stoppage, computer failure or malfunction, or any and all other commercial damages or losses. In no event will Valve be liable for any indirect, incidental, consequential, special, punitive, or exemplary damages, or any other damages arising out of, or in any way connected with Steam, the content and services, the subscriptions, and any information available in connection therewith, or the delay or inability to use the content and services and subscriptions, or any information. Even in the event of Valve's or its affiliates' fault, tort, including negligence, strict liability, or breach of Valve's warranty, and even if it has been advised of the possibility of such damages. These limitations and liability exclusions apply even if any remedied fails to provide adequate recompense. Because some states or jurisdictions do not allow the exclusion or the limitation of liability for consequential or incidental damages, in such states or jurisdictions, each of Valve's, its licensors, and its affiliates' liability shall be limited to the full extent permitted by law. C. No guarantees. To the maximum extent permitted by applicable law, Neither Valve nor its affiliates guarantee continuous, error-free, virus-free, or secure operation and access to Steam, the content, the services, your account, and your subscriptions, or any information available in connection therewith. D. Limited warranty. Certain hardware purchased from Valve is subject to a limited warranty, or, depending on your location, a statutory warranty, which is described in detail here. Eight. Amendments to this agreement. Please note, if you are a consumer with place of residence in Germany, a different version of Section 8 applies to you, which is available here. This agreement may at any time be mutually amended by your explicit consent to changes proposed by Valve. Furthermore, Valve may amend this agreement, including any subscription terms or rules of use, unilaterally at any time in its sole discretion. In this case, you will be notified by email of any amendment to this agreement made by Valve within 60 days before the entry into force of the said amendment. You can view the agreement at any time at http://steampowered.com. Your failure to cancel your account within 30 days after the entry into force of the amendments will constitute your acceptance of the amended terms. If you don't agree to the amendments or to any of the terms in this agreement, your only remedy is to cancel your account or to cease use of the affected subscriptions. Valve shall not have any obligation to refund any fees that may have accrued to your account or for cancellation of your account or cessation of use of any subscription. Nor shall Valve have any obligation to prorate any fees in such accordance. 9. Term and termination. A. Term. The term of this agreement, the term, commences on the date you first indicate your acceptance of these terms and will continue in effect until otherwise terminated in accordance with this agreement. B. Termination by you. You may cancel your account at any time. You may cease use of a subscription at any time, or if you choose, you may request that Valve terminate your access to a subscription. However, subscriptions are not transferable, and even if your access to a subscription for a particular game or application is terminated, the original activation key will not be able to be registered to any other account, even if the subscription was obtained in a retail store. Access to subscriptions purchased as a part of a pack or bundle cannot be terminated individually. Termination of access to one game within the bundle will result in termination of access to all games purchased in the pack. Your cancellation of an account or your cessation of use of any subscription or request that access to a subscription be terminated will not entitle you to any refund, including of any subscription fees. Valve reserves the right to collect fees, surcharges, or costs incurred prior to the cancellation of your account or termination of your access to a particular subscription. In addition, you are responsible for any charges incurred to third-party vendors or content providers before your cancellation. C. Termination by Valve. Valve may cancel your account or any particular subscriptions at any time in the event that A. Valve ceases providing such subscriptions to similarly situated subscribers generally, or B. You breach any terms of this agreement, including any subscription terms or rules of use. In the event that your account or a particular subscription is terminated or canceled by Valve for a violation of this agreement or improper or illegal activity, no refund, including of any subscription fees or of any unused funds in your Steam wallet, will be granted. D. Survival of terms. Sections 2C, 2D, 2F, 2G, 3A, 3B, 3D, 3H, and 5 through 12 will survive any expiration or termination of this agreement. 10. Applicable law/jurisdiction. For all customers outside the European Union, you agree that this agreement shall be deemed to have been made and executed in the state of Washington, USA, and any dispute arising hereunder shall be resolved in accordance with the laws of Washington, excluding the law of conflicts and the Convention on Contracts for the International Sale of Goods. Subject to Section 11, Dispute Resolution, Binding Arbitration, Class Action Waiver below, you agree that any claim asserted in any legal proceeding by you against Valve shall be commenced and maintained exclusively in any state or federal court located in King County, Washington, having subject matter jurisdiction with respect to the dispute between the parties, and you hereby consent to the exclusive jurisdiction of such courts. In any dispute arising under this agreement, the prevailing party will be entitled to attorney's fees and expenses. For EU customers, in the event of a dispute relating to the interpretation, the performance, or the validity of the subscriber agreement, an amicable solution will be sought before any legal action. You can file your complaint at http://help.steampowered.com. In case of failure, you may, within 1 year of the failed request, file an online complaint on the European Commission's online dispute resolution website, https://webgate.ec.europa.eu/main/index.cfm?main.home.choose-language, or on the European Consumer Center's website, http://www.europe-consummateurs.eu/index.php ? ID equals 2514. In the event that out-of-court dispute resolutions fail, the dispute may be brought before the competent courts. Section 11. Dispute Resolution, Binding Arbitration, Class Action Waiver. This Section 11 shall apply to the maximum extent permitted by applicable law. If the laws of your jurisdiction prohibit the application of some or all of the provisions of this section, notwithstanding Section 10, applicable law/jurisdiction, such provisions will not apply to you. In particular, if you live in the European Union, this Section 11 does not apply to you. Most user concerns can be resolved by use of our Steam support site at https://support.steampowered.com. If Valve is unable to resolve your concerns and a dispute remains between you and Valve, this section explains how the parties have agreed to resolve it. You and Valve agree to resolve all disputes and claims between us in individual binding arbitration. That includes, but is not limited to, any claims arising out of or relating to 1. Any aspect of the relationship between us, 2. This agreement, or 3. Your use of Steam, your account, or the content and services. It applies regardless of whether such claims are based in contract, tort, statute, fraud, unfair competition, misrepresentation, or any other legal theory. However, this section does not apply to the following types of claims or disputes which you or Valve may bring in any court with jurisdiction. 1. Claims of infringement or other misuse of intellectual property rights, including such claims seeking injunctive relief. And 2. Claims relating to or arising from any alleged unauthorized use, piracy, or theft. This section does not prevent you from bringing your dispute to the attention of any federal, state, or local government agencies that can, if the law allows, seek relief from us for you. An arbitration is a proceeding before a neutral arbitrator, instead of before a judge or jury. Arbitration is less formal than a lawsuit in court and provides more limited discovery. It follows different rules than court proceedings and is subject to very limited review by courts. The arbitrator will issue a written decision and provide a statement of reasons if requested by either party. You understand that you and Valve are giving up the right to sue in court and to have a trial before a judge or jury. You and Valve agree to make reasonable, good faith efforts to informally resolve any dispute before initiating arbitration. A party who intends to seek arbitration must first send the other a written notice that describes the nature and basis of the claim or dispute and sets forth the relief sought. If you and Valve do not reach an agreement to resolve that claim or dispute within 30 days after the notice is received, you or Valve may commence an arbitration. Written notice to Valve must be sent via postal mail to Attention Arbitration Notice Valve Corporation, P.O. Box 1688, Bellevue, Washington 98004. The Federal Arbitration Act applies to this section. The arbitration will be governed by the commercial arbitration rules of the American Arbitration Association, AAA, and, where applicable, the AAA's supplementary procedures for consumer-related disputes, as modified by this agreement, both of which are available at http://www.adr.org. The arbitrator is bound by the terms of this agreement. The AAA will administer the arbitration. It may be conducted through the submission of documents, by phone or in person in the county where you live, or at another mutually agreed location. If you seek $10,000 or less, Valve agrees to reimburse your filing fee and your share of the arbitration costs, including your share of arbitrator compensation, at the conclusion of the proceeding, unless the arbitrator determines your claims are frivolous or costs are unreasonable as determined by the arbitrator. Valve agrees not to seek its attorney's fees or costs in arbitration unless the arbitrator determines your claims are frivolous or costs are unreasonable as determined by the arbitrator. If you seek more than $10,000, the arbitration costs, including arbitrator compensation, will be split between you and Valve according to the AAA commercial arbitration rules and the AAA's supplementary procedures for consumer-related disputes, if applicable. You and Valve agree not to bring or participate in a class or representative action, private attorney general action, or collective arbitration, even if AAA's procedures or rules would otherwise allow one. The arbitrator may award relief only if favor of the individual party seeking relief, and only to the extent of that party's individual claim. You and Valve also agree not to seek to combine any action or arbitration with any other action or arbitration without the consent of all parties to this agreement, and all other actions or arbitrations. If the agreement in this section not to bring or participate in a class or representative action, private attorney general action, or collective arbitration should be found illegal or unenforceable, you and Valve agree that it shall not be severable, that this entire section shall be unenforceable, and any claim or dispute would be resolved in court and not in collective arbitration. Notwithstanding this section, you have the right to litigate any dispute in small claims court if all the requirements of the small claims court, including any limitations on jurisdiction and the amount at issue in the dispute, are satisfied. Section 12. Miscellaneous. except as otherwise expressly set forth in this agreement, in the event that any provision of this agreement shall be held by a court or other tribunal of competent jurisdiction to be unenforceable, such provision will be enforced to the maximum extent permissible, and the remaining portions of this agreement shall remain in full force and effect. This agreement, including any subscription terms, rules of use, the valve privacy policy, and the valve hardware warranty policy, constitutes and contains the entire agreement between the parties with respect to the subject matter hereof, and supersedes any prior oral or written agreements. You agree that this agreement is not intended to confer and does not confer any rights or remedies upon any person other than the parties to this agreement. Valve's obligations are subject to existing laws and legal processes, and Valve may comply with law enforcement or regulatory requests or requirements notwithstanding any contrary term. You agree to comply with all applicable import-export laws and regulations. You agree not to export the content and services or hardware or allow use of your account by individuals of any terrorist supporting countries to which encryption exports are at the time of exportation restricted by the U.S. Bureau of Export Administration. You represent and warrant that you are not located in, under the control of, or a national or resident of any such prohibited country. This agreement was last updated on August 31st, 2017, revision date. If you were a subscriber before the revision date, it replaces your existing agreement with Valve or Valve SARL on the day that you explicitly accept it. If you prefer to continue using Steam and your existing subscriptions under the version of the agreement in effect prior to the revision date, you are free to do so.